Hey, this is Matthew Ricks, and today on the Music Business Newsletter, what happens if you get to the venue and they canceled the show? That was an email that came in. But before we get going, I ask that you leave a comment if you agree or disagree. Make sure to subscribe to this channel. If you have a question on the music industry that you would like for me to answer, just go to MatthewRicks.com, click submit your question. I don't need you to sign up for a Patreon. I don't need you to join a book club. I don't need you to hire me as a private coach. I don't do any of that stuff anyways. Just go to MatthewRicks.com and click submit your question. Now for the email. He says, hey, Matthew, huge fan of the Matrix Minute. Thank you. Seriously, your videos make me feel slightly less insane for dedicating my life to hauling amps into bars that smell like fryer grease and broken dreams. That's a pretty good one. This is a good email. Like this guy, we're going to call him Bob. Massive band energy, massive band, like musician, slept in too many truck stop parking lots in his van, like massive energy. I'm here for this though. So he says, so I play in an indie rock band. We're not going to mention the name. We're going to protect the innocent, just like how we name everybody Bob or Sarah. He says, we're not famous, but we've been putting in the work. Hundreds of shows over the years, thousands of miles, one van that's definitely held together by duct tape and prayer. We are road dogs, exclamation point. I mean, hundreds of shows over a couple of years, thousands of miles, one van. I mean, you say you're road dogs, like you guys sound like, you sound like you don't ever go home. You sound like a throwback band. Just like we're making $30 a night and we're as happy as can be. Good for you guys. He says, here's the problem. Venues keep canceling us when we literally show up to load in. Yikes. He says, like, we'll drive 6 to 10 hours, roll up sweaty and optimistic, and the bartender looks at us like, we just asked if they serve unicorn meat. Then comes the line, oh, the show's canceled. That's gotta suck. Could you imagine driving 10 hours in a van with a couple of other boys that you've been traveling the country with and you're probably sick of them already? Because no matter how great the band is and, oh yeah, we love each other, we're brothers, you still get on each other's nerves. And then you get there and they tell you the show is canceled. Ugh. He says, and the email continues, no warning, no text, not even a carrier pigeon, just heartbreak and car snacks. And since we mostly do door splits, when the show gets canned, we make the same amount we did when our drummer said he'll handle the social media, 0. Band energy, man. This is musician energy all day long right here. So showing up, you're driving 10 hours for a door split. That's crazy. What if nobody shows up? What if you make like $30? I knew bands back in the day who had this mindset. They actually got signed and went on. And they would travel everywhere. And they make like 30, 40, $50 a night. And I remember when we were getting ready to sign them, I said, how are you guys surviving? This doesn't make sense. And they all kind of looked and they're like, we got girlfriends who send us money. And I was like, and I joked then, I was like, how many? And they wouldn't answer, but, and hey, in this line here, since we mostly do door splits, when the show gets canned, we make the same amount we did when our drummer said he'd handle the social media, 0. Oh man, I got war stories about somebody in the band's like, oh, you're not doing a good enough job on social media. I'll take it over. And then they just run it into the ground, or they don't do anything. I'm getting ready to, I'm thinking about what I need to do. Don't worry guys. It's going to be huge. The email continues. Now, to be fair, we might share some of the blame here. We don't really do any advancing. Bruh, how do you not advance the show? Hey, Bob, we're going to be there tomorrow. Are you ready? Are you stoked? How do you not advance? He says, no contracts, no deposits. No see you at 7 confirmation emails. We mostly just lock things in over Instagram DMs. This is such band energy. I can't just stop from smirking. This is such a band right here. No contracts, no deposits. Typically in a band, there is one guy who is lucid enough to handle the business on the road. I don't care how small the band is or how big the band is. He's typically a bass player or drummer, and he's the one who handles the money, will advance just to make sure you guys don't travel 10 hours and the show gets canceled. No confirmation emails. We mostly just lock things in over Instagram DMs. That is horrible. I almost think at some point you guys are just like, yeah, that's cool. Let's go to Kansas. Sounds like a good time. I don't think the email says where you guys are from. He's like, yeah, we've never been to Kansas. Let's go. And if there's a show, cool. If there's not, we'll send for money back home. But yeah, you got to stop booking. You got to stop getting confirmation for your shows over Instagram DMs. You got to get an email. You got to get a phone number. You have to advance the shows. You won't get a deposit because it's a door split. No contracts. Yeah, you need contracts, but if they're not providing anything for you, if they're not providing food, hotel, and honorarium, the contract basically says they're going to be open. What you want is bartenders or club promoters. It sounds like you guys probably play a lot of bars. So you want the guy who's booking the local entertainment that night for the bar to be really excited and love you guys and just love like your attitude and your vibe. And he's like telling the bar rats like, oh, Friday night, you got to come see this band. These guys are really cool. They're a lot of fun. You're not going to get that off of an Instagram DM. And also, you don't even know who you're talking to over there. So he says, we're basically trusting total strangers with our plans and gas money. It's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, I mean, you don't even know the person you're DMing if they're actually in charge of booking shows. I mean, it could be the fry guy. You know, yeah, come on in. Sounds great, guys. Hey, there's some band supposed to be here next Friday. I also wonder how far out in advance you guys are doing. I know, like in the punk world, you know, you're booking shows like, oh, we're going to be in Nashville in 7 days. Let's try to find a venue. I wonder if you guys are going with that approach or because that might be too quick. But then you guys also could be like booking like 9 months in advance and then you have no follow up. And so when you show up, they're like, oh, hey. So he says, my question is, how do we stop getting ghosted by venues? Advance the show, stop doing business over Instagram DM, book it within enough reasonable time. If it is under a week or smaller band like you guys, you don't give me any numbers or anything, so I'm just going to assume a smaller band. If it's under a week or over 2 months, it's probably, you got to be in that sweet spot window. He says, do we need to start sending contracts out? Yeah, I mean, that would be the best thing. Here's the problem. If you're playing smaller bars, most of them are not reputable anyways. They'll sign a contract and still cancel the show. What do they care? But also what you do run into with that is, I think you guys, you don't give me any numbers or anything. You probably are playing smaller size bars, and maybe they're in rural places. They're not going to sign a contract. So if you advance and you're like, man, I've been trying to call this guy for 3 weeks. He's not calling me back. We're not going to wherever if I don't hear from this guy by tomorrow. And you let him know that. But I mean, I would do a contract. I ain't going anywhere without a contract. Like I get, offers to speak and stuff. And it's like, oh, that sounds great. Like my guy's like, it sounds great. Send us we'll send you our contract. Cause then when you get into a certain world, like they don't want to pay for a hotel for you. So they're like, oh, but he can stay at my house. He seems like a cool guy. He seems chill, which I am a cool guy and I am chill. I don't want to eat breakfast with you though. So he says, should we confirm every show a week out? Yes. And if you do not hear from them within a week, you don't go. And you let them know, if I don't hear from you by tomorrow, we're not coming. He says, or the other option is, should we make our guitarist mom start calling ahead like it's a field trip? Hey, when MXPX was starting out, Mike Herrera's mom was doing that for them. She was their manager for the longest time. And she was calling and advancing like their shows, making merch orders. You're trying to be funny here, but you could actually get your guitarist mom if she wanted to do it. Moms can be very persistent if they have to be. He says, we just want to show up, plug and play, not find out the headliner canceled and now it's karaoke night. Please tell me, my guy, that's happened. I mean, you're a band. You want to show up, plug in, and play. Like, you don't want to be bogged down with uh, logistics of being in a band. How dare you? But please tell me the headliner canceled, and it did turn into karaoke night when you got there. I would hate that for you guys, but that would also be pretty funny. He goes on, appreciate any wisdom you can drop, man. And if you ever cover this on the Matrix Minute called How to Avoid Driving 600 Miles to Nowhere, we'll take the songwriting credit. All the best, Bob. And then his signature says, bassist, van sleeper, band therapist, and guy who swears this tour is the one. All right. Well, Bob, how to avoid driving 600 miles to nowhere. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We'll come up with something better, I think. And maybe I'll still give you some songwriting credit on it. This was a very humorous email in the light of if I was in your band, and you know there's someone in this band who is just absolutely furious that they're showing up at these venues. The show is canceled, but it sounds like Bob here, who's a bassist, is probably just like, this is cool. We get to go to Buc-ee's, which is a good attitude to have when you're being this careless. So yes, if you can get a contract, get a contract. But it's hard with a contract if it's a door split. And if they're not getting you hotels or providing you meals or whatever, it gets a little bit more difficult for a contract. And like I said, if you're playing rural areas and rural bars, they're not going to sign a contract. So I think the best thing to do is, advance the show a week out. I'd get a phone number. You can't be doing the stuff over Instagram DM. You just can't. Because like I said, you don't know if it's the fry guy, the intern, the wife, the kids. You don't, come on, Dad, we got a band playing. I don't know what they're called. Because you want to avoid, going that route might take some shows off of your calendar. But if these shows are getting canceled when you arrive, or they don't know you're there, you don't want it on your books anyways. You guys are, to drive 10 hours in a van, that's a lot of money. So yeah, I would start doing advancing. Bars and clubs are notoriously piss poor communicators, and you will be put in a situation where you're not going to hear from anybody, and you're going to tell them, like, if I don't hear back from you in 24 hours, we're going to cancel, and then you'll still not hear from them, and then you need to cancel. Because if you show up and it's canceled after you've called them and everything, and they never called you back, and you get there and it's canceled, you got no one to blame but yourself. But thanks for the email. This was very humorous. And if you want to be like Bob and his van sleeping band, just go to and have a question for me on the music industry. Just go to MatthewRicks.com. Click submit your question. Give me as many details as possible. And until next time, I will talk to you later.